Hey guys, it's me. So we stopped filming yesterday. I think it was around the Dead Sea, and we went to Jericho after that. And really in Jericho, it was just kind of standing looking at this cliff where it's believed that that's where Satan tempted Jesus. But of course there's no proof that was the actual cliff. And I couldn't get good photos anyway because of the sun and all that. But after that, we just came back to the hotel, and we've all been so tired. We've been going to bed so early. So I didn't finish filming yesterday, but this morning we are getting ready to leave, and it's like the biggest day of our trip, because tomorrow we leave to go home tomorrow night. So today we are going to the Garden Tomb, where we believe Jesus was buried and obviously resurrected, and some other neat things in Jerusalem. So we're back in the old city, I guess, today. And so I'll try to do a better job of, I don't know, talking to the camera, but it's been such a fast pace. And it's been a wonderful trip. So I'll check in once we have somewhere to stop at. So see you guys later.
A couple of years ago, I never found David's palace. Now it's assumed that David's palace is going to be somewhere in the city of David. So a few years ago, the archaeologists were excavating Professor Caiaphas, the granddaughter of Benjamin, the first archaeologists were excavating the city of David years ago. She's in charge of the excavation. She decided that probably David's palace is where the service area of the city of David was. There's a purpose right here, there were the cashiers and the shops and everything. She moved that where it is today, started excavating here. And as she started excavating, she came across this big, massive building. You can see that it's very big. You can see that it's massive, it's made of stone. And then it's tricked her into something that the scriptures say. If you look over here, in 2 Samuel chapter 5, it says that Hiram, the king of Tyre of Lebanon of today, who was best friend with Saul.
So what we just saw is the excavation of what they believe David's palace was. Just administrative offices up there, and all of this. This is the ancient city of David. So there you can see they built their homes on this hillside, the royal quarter. Okay, what is this?
So because of the architecture they're finding here that's Phoenician in origin, they're thinking it could actually be David's palace.
Okay.
That they're excavating, because there's no other explanation for that architecture being out
Like
of
the
place.
King David.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but the excavation is currently underway, but they're finding royal seals.
Why would the Phoenician architecture tie it to David?
Because they supplied the materials. King Hiram is who they basically contracted to supply the stones and timber.
Okay.
So with the stonery, they and then the artisans as well to work on it. So
cool.
Which is consistent with King Hiram and the Phoenician Empire, who supplied the materials at the time.
Thanks.
Here's the same area, the way it looks today. Topography is the same. 3 valleys surrounding the hill where Jerusalem is built, right? Jehoshaphat, Kidron, Hinnom. Here, same topography. Top of Temple Mount, Mount Moriah, that's right here, where the Al-Aqsa Mosque of today is. Slopes of the city from the top of Mount Moriah downhill. bottom side here is where the pool of Siloam was. This would be in the lower part of the city, right here. And the water spring, which is below us, the Gihon spring, here where the two towers protecting it, it should be somewhere around here where the Gihon spring is. That's where we are now. What Hezekiah did, he said, if the enemy will come, this is not going to be enough. So he canceled this, covered the whole thing, and did his tunnel going like this through the city into the water reservoir. So you can see the similarities between David's city and Jerusalem of today. We're going to go down to the...
So we're in the water tunnels that Hezekiah put into place. So he was diverting water to the city. Why did he have to divert the water back?
So that if Jerusalem is sieged, you only survive as long as your water survives. So this was to give them a...
This was a preventative measure?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they knew the Assyrians were on the way.
Okay.
So
They kept them from being able to go into through the tunnel from the outside.
yeah.
The enemy. That's how David conquered the city. Was going through the tunnel. The water spring.
Okay.
That is kind of rerouted.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay, here I am walking across the wall.
You can't do that?
Walking across.
It was dug in a hurry. They wanted to finish it quickly before the Assyrians are coming. So in order to do that, they dug it from both directions. Think about it. They had a group of people digging from the pool, a group of people digging from the spring, and as they describe, at some point they heard the noises of the people speaking, they heard the axes, and then an X met an X, and they opened the tunnel, they missed by this much. Think about it, 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And then the water, so you saw the movie, gushed through the tunnel into the spring. Now, how do we know all of that? Because in the Turkish period, during the Ottoman period, there was a boy who found at the exit by the pool a tablet of stone. And on the stone it was chiseled the story of the tunnel. And they wrote everything that you heard probably from the movie, that as the two groups of diggers were digging from both directions, an X met an X, 1,200 cubics, a cubic is about a man's arm, 1,200 cubics is about 600 meters, the length of the tunnel. And that piece of stone is in the museum in Istanbul in Turkey today because the Turks took it to their museum. And that tells us about the story of the tunnel. The interesting thing for archaeologists was you would walk in this Hezekiah's wonder tunnel, enter where we go here, exit at the tunnel, as you would see, and when you exit, you would see a tiny little pool of water, maybe in the size of two people. That's it. And people thought, wow, this is the pool of Siloam? Doesn't really make sense. But because there was no other pool of Siloam, they figured, okay, that's the pool of Siloam. If you go in the white tunnel, you'll see it. You exit, it's a pretty small piece of pool. And then years ago, they were doing some construction work on the roads, sewage work, and then they found a corner of what seems to be like a pool. They excavated, that's where we go now, and they found the whole, from corner to corner, the whole size of the pool, only 10%. We know from the scriptures from Josephus Flavius that the pool of Siloam was big, massive, and square. So if we found that side, you can multiply that this way, and you get the size. Like I told you, 10% on our side, the excavation, 90% under the garden that belongs to the Orthodox Church, where we cannot excavate anymore, and therefore for the time being we're not unable to excavate the rest of the pool of Siloam.
Okay, so we're going down into Hezekiah's water tunnel. Most of us chose not to take the wet tunnel, so we're going the dry way. So this is the ancient water tunnel. Feel a cool breeze through there. Here we go. Hello, here I come. Miss Pam and I yet again did not feel the Spirit leading to do cold water activities. You can see how narrow. So just to recap, Hezekiah was after King David, and he did this as a preventative measure against attack, so he knew that their water supply would be safe. So this is going underneath and then back up into within the city walls. Can you imagine doing this with water up to your thighs?
No.
We've got a few brave people that did it. So they started at one end of the water source and at the other end of the water source. Like two groups of people started chiseling all this, and they met in the middle. And when you think about their lack of technology and knowing really where they were going, it's incredible.
In that place, that church, modern church from 1994, we can peek inside later when we go up. It was built on top of the ruins of the House of Caiaphas, the high priest. And that's what we came to see now, the House of Caiaphas, the high priest. There's a staircase that brings you from the lower city to the upper city, and that's the staircase over there. If Catherine will point, you'll see stairs where she stands. See, there. Yeah, thank you. That's the staircase leading from the lower city to the upper city. Those are original steps, original stairs from Jesus' time. So when you want to say again, this is the place where Jesus walked, those steps. How do we know that this is the House of Caiaphas? You go and see the ruins of the house. It's in the upper city. Upper city is where the priests live, the rich people of Jerusalem. It's a big house. Priests had big houses. It's a big house that has a ritual bath, a mikveh attached to it. All priests have a mikveh attached to the home because they need to be clean. Storage of the temple, and we didn't find that in any other building, but we found it here. Under the house, there's a big complex of jail systems and a dungeon. Only the high priest would have it because he was the only one who was allowed to have his soldiers, allowed to arrest his enemies and keep them in jail. And so we believe that this is the place where Jesus was brought to trial in front of the Sanhedrin, the high priest Caiaphas, kept in jail for the night in the dungeon. We're going to be in that dungeon and talk about it. And from there, taken to Fortress Antonia on Temple Mount area to stand in trial of Pontius Pilate. Here, there's jail systems, not jails like our days where you have color TV and 3 meals a day, but jails where you're chained to the walls. And from the jail system, they will take you and put you in the dungeon. The dungeon is just a hall that you can see here. The dungeon is a hole that was dug in the rock. You will lower somebody through the rock, put him inside, covered with a stone on the top. He would be kept in total darkness. There's nothing. There's no windows or anything, not like what we have here. Pure dark.
how they lowered prisoners in. The steps only came so far so the prisoner could not get out. So that's why you have these steps coming down right here. These have been added so we can come down and then get out. But this is a 99.9% site that Jesus was right here after he was arrested and brought here by Caiaphas. And so when he was in here, it would have been pitch black. The first time I came, they turned the lights off to let you see what it was really like. And I mean, you can't see the hand in front of you. And many believe that Jesus had Psalm 88 on his mind, that this is what he was thinking about while he was here. And if I have a good light, I may ask you to pull a light out for me. Lord God of my salvation, I cry out before you day and night. May my prayer reach your presence. Listen to my cry. For I've had enough troubles and my life is near shale. I am counted among those going down to the pit. I am like a man without strength, abandoned among the dead. I am like the slain lying in the grave, whom you no longer remember, who are cut off from your care. You have put me in the lowest part of the pit, in the darkest places and in the depths. Your wrath weighs heavily on me. You have overwhelmed me with all your waves. You have distanced my friends from me. You have made me repulsive to them. I am shut in and cannot go out. My eyes are worn out from crying. Lord, I cry out to you all day long. I spread out my hands to you. Do you work wonders for the dead? Do departed spirits rise up to praise you? Will your faithful love be declared in the grave, your faithfulness in Abaddon? Will your wonders be known in the darkness, or your righteousness in the land of oblivion? But I call to you for help, Lord, in the morning. My prayer reaches you. Lord, why do you reject me? Why do you hide your face from me? From my youth I've been afflicted and near death. I suffer your horrors. I am desperate. Your wrath sweeps over me. Your terrors destroy me. They surround me like water all day long. They close in on me from every side. You have distanced lovely and neighbor from me. Darkness is my only friend. Let's pray. Father, it's hard to imagine that our Lord was here the night that he was arrested at this very place. There's no telling all that was on his mind, his heart. This may give us a glimpse of your word, of what he was thinking about, knowing that he would take on the sin of the world, our sin, and be crucified because of your love for us. And so, Lord, I pray that we'll love you all the more as we think about how the Lord suffered and how that suffering intensified in the hours to come. So we praise you, Lord, for what you did for us through Jesus. In his name I pray. Amen.
Amen.